My name is Amara, but out here, people call me Sugar. That's the name I use in this line of work. A name that's sweet enough to attract, but easy to forget once the night is over. You see, when I first came to Lagos, I had big dreams. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I had this idea that Lagos was a place where people like me, small town girls, could make it big. But Lagos isn't what I thought it would be. Anyway, that is story for another day. As I have now quickly learned that the city has its own plans, and if you are not careful, it will swallow you whole. I have been in this Ashi business for years now. Ashi, which is the short term of Ashawul as we locally call it, also known as prostitute. I have seen different men, but no matter how experienced I get, I can never forget some nights when I saw Shege Banza. One night, during my early days of starting, I had put on this beautiful red dress. You know the type now. The one that clings to your body and show curves, making people stare. I walked out into the Lagos night trying to act confident even though my legs were shaking inside those cheap heels I wore. It didn't take long for the men to notice me. Some even rolled down their car windows. Others were calling out as they passed by. The usual promise of money and a good time. But I wasn't about to jump into just any car. What I wanted was a man that looked like money. When I got to my regular bus stop, I wasn't the only girl out there, of course. There were plenty of us, all trying to catch the right man's eye, all hoping for the same thing, a quick payday with little or no drama. It didn't take long before a sleek black car rolled up beside me. The window slid down smoothly, and there he was, a handsome man in his late 40s. He introduced himself as Kunle. Now, you see, I have met all kinds of men in this business, but something about Kunle stuck with me. He had this air of confidence, like he owned the world and nothing could touch him. He wasn't like the usual street guys. He was polished, dressed in an expensive suit, smelling of fancy cologne, and not bad looking either. "Good evening, beautiful," he said, his voice deep and smooth. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" Unlike other girls, I didn't jump into his car right away. You will learn quickly in this business that a little hesitation can save you from a lot of trouble. But something about him made me take a step closer. He looked safe enough, I thought. "What's your name?" he asked me, flashing a smile that probably had worked on a lot of women before me. "My name is Sugar," I replied, while chewing gum, keeping my voice steady. "Nice to meet you, Sugar. I am Kunle," he said. Then, without hesitation, he asked how much for the night. I named my price, trying not to let my voice shake. I didn't know what to expect, but Kunle just nodded like it was nothing. He opened the door for me, and that is how it all started. We drove to a high-end hotel in Victoria Island, one of those places where the rich go to play, the kind of place where nobody asks questions as long as you've got the money. Kunle didn't say much on the drive, and I was fine with that. My mind was racing, trying to prepare for whatever was coming. The hotel room was like something out of a movie, very beautiful and exotic. Everything looked expensive. Kunle sat down and poured himself a drink and offered me one. But I wasn't in the mood for alcohol. I needed to keep my head clear just in case he tries something funny, cause in this business you have to shine your eyes well. "You are new to this, aren't you?" he asked, sitting on the edge of the bed and studying me like he was trying to figure me out. I nodded. "Yes, but this is not my first time," I said. Kunle smiled softly like he understood what I was saying. "Don't worry," he said. "Tonight, I just need someone to talk to. I am not here to hurt you." I wasn't sure if I should believe him, but I sat down beside him anyway. He started talking, and before I knew it, hours had passed. He told me about his life, his businesses, his constant travels, including his wife. He talked about how his marriage was falling apart, how his wife didn't understand him anymore, and how he felt trapped, as if all of this was my business. He also said he wasn't just looking for sex that night, but he was looking for a way to escape, even if it's just a few hours. You see, that is what people don't get about this our business. Men like Kunle, they are not just paying for your body, they are paying for your time, your attention, and your silence. They are paying for someone to listen to their problems without judgment, and that is exactly what I did. I listened. I listened as he poured out his soul, and I realized this man, this powerful, confident, rich man, was just as broken as the rest of us. But just as I had started to relax, we heard a knock on the door. I opened as we already ordered some food, hoping it was room service. The door suddenly flew open. I jumped, my heart nearly leaping out of my chest. And before I knew it, a woman was standing there. I barely had time to react before the woman stormed in. It was Kunle's wife. I didn't need any introduction to know that. She was beautiful, tall, and elegant in a way that made me feel very small. And she was angry. Very angry. "You bastard," she screamed at Kunle, her voice shaking with fury. "Is this what you have been doing behind my back?" Kunle jumped up, his calm demeanor from earlier completely gone. "Lara, wait." But she wasn't listening. She turned her fury towards me, and in that instant, I knew she wasn't here to talk. She moved towards me with that kind of speed that made my heart skip a beat. Her hand was raised ready to strike, and I didn't have time to defend myself. I was terribly afraid. "And you," she spat, marching towards me. "How dare you?" I have seen a lot since then, but that moment, I will never forget the fear that shot through me as she came at me. Her hand raised to strike. I braced myself, but Kunle stepped in just in time, grabbing her arm before she could hit me. "Stop it, Lara," he shouted, his voice desperate but firm. "This isn't her fault. Leave her out of this." She struggled against him, her face twisted with rage, but he held her tightly. Finally, Lara stopped fighting. She looked at Kunle with pure hatred in her eyes, her chest heaving with every breath. "This isn't over," she hissed. "You will regret this, Kunle, I swear, you will regret this." And with one last hateful glare at me, she stormed out of the room. Kunle sighed heavily, running a hand through his hair, his hands shaking slightly, before he turned back at me. I could see the fear in his eyes too, and for the first time that night, I realized how deep his troubles really went. He looked at me with an apologetic expression. "I am sorry about that," he said quietly. "She wasn't supposed to know. She must have tracked my phone." Kunle reached out into his pocket and pulled out a business card. He handed it to me with a serious look on his face. "Call me if you ever need anything," he said. "I will make sure you are taken care of." I took the card, my fingers brushing through his. Kunle gave me one last look. An apology, a promise, and a warning all rolled into one, before he turned and followed his wife out of the room, leaving me alone in the silence. As the door clicked shut behind him, I finally allowed myself to breathe. I looked down at the card in my hand, the weight of the night settling on my shoulders, wondering what the hell had happened. That was when I realized he hadn't even paid me for the night. But it was already too late. He was gone. The next morning, I woke up to a message on my phone. It was from an unknown number. The message was short, but it made my blood run cold. "Stay away from Kunle, or else." And just like that, my simple night on the street of Lagos turned into something far more dangerous. What do you think happened next? Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so when I post the next episode, you will be among the first to watch. Thank you and remain blessed.